lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking Jim Mahfood's Grrl Scouts #1. Introduction of Gwen, Rita, and Daphne. One of my favorite titles that Jim Mahfood's ever done. Before I get into it, I want to remind everybody, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, check out some of the dope content on the channel. Got some other Jim Mahfood joints that I've gone through, a couple interviews of Jim as well. And make sure you hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. Now let's talk Grrl Scouts. You know, I first discovered Jim's work on the Clerks book that he did with Kevin Smith. He also did, he actually did a couple Clerks, he did a couple Clerks comics with Kevin Smith. You know, he did that really dope Generation X Underground special, which he kind of mentions in the back in the editorial here. This is his creator-owned book, though. Out from Oni in 1999, so you know this goes back a ways, but he's revisited this concept multiple times. I believe I want to say there's at least there's 4 miniseries that have happened, maybe 5. I can't remember exactly, but I really dig this style. Mahfood has definitely grown past this art style. The evolution of his art is something that's really cool to explore as well. But the thing that I love the most about this, and it's definitely prevalent of this era of his art, is all the Easter eggs he'll drop in here. So, you meet, Rita, Daphne, Gwen at a young age. They're sitting here. It's, 1980, Freak City. I love the city, he calls it. Look at, she's got a gun in her hand, right? She's drawing. She's over here reading Life Doesn't Frighten Me. Poems by Maya Angelou, art by John Michael Basquiat, and it's just super cool, man. She's over here, Daphne's over here with the gun. Daphne, calm down, honey. So, these little angels are going to be friends forever, and they do become friends forever. And what's really funny is they're called the Grrl Scouts because they're drug dealers, and they disguise their stuff through Girl Scout cookies. Look at all the, just look at this. You got an issue of Black Hole right there. Giant Robot, Badass Mofo. You got a Jay from Jay and Silent Bob toy right there. Just the level of details. You got the big one, Mallrats. These are VHS, by the way, because this is when video cassettes were still coming out. You got a Run DMC poster. You got an Optic Nerve poster. Tribe Called Quest. She's over here reading comics news. Oni Press reaches all-time low. Agrees to publish Mahfood's comics. Hilarious, dude. Just so much stuff going on in here. Jim's dialogue, too. His writing is some of my favorite. He's hilarious, dude. He's a funny-ass guy, and his comics are just as funny. Yo, Rita, get your funky ass in here before I have a fucking hissy fit. It's like, Jesus, cut me some slack. And then, before I forget, I don't want to miss this. He even put it on a fucking unofficial soundtrack for the issue. Mix of really dope stuff, and that's another thing that Jim Mahfood does so well is his Skull Funk Radio. If you're not following that, highly recommend it. He does some really dope playlists on there, all curated by him. But dude, I just really dig this. Girls just sitting there hanging out. It's 10:30, and they're like, "Dang, there's no cartoons anywhere," which is funny commentary because at this point, in '99. There wasn't really Saturday morning cartoons anymore. They kind of got away from that. I think especially with like the oncoming of Cartoon Network, stuff like that. All the Saturday morning cartoons kind of fell to the wayside. And then he makes the commentary of only thing the networks are showing are these shitty, terribly acted high school teeny bopper sitcoms / soap operas like Saved by the Bell and Hang Time. I grew up with both of those shows, so it's kind of funny that he's knocking them. But I love that she even says don't be knocking Saved by the Bell. Screech is Gwen's secret lover. Oh, man. But for real, these fucking shows are totally aimed at brainwashing little 12 and 13-year-olds into thinking that high school is this fun, safe place where everyone is accepted and gets along. They never show kids bringing shotguns to class or little Susie getting ripped by the chemistry teacher and shit. It's true, though. This fake facade of what high school life is, it's nothing like that. It's maybe not always as extreme as that, but it definitely didn't show what high school is about. They even say, look, high school's a fucking nightmare. Yo, did you get those shrooms? We need to make deliveries today. So they're dealing in all sorts of stuff, man. And she talks about she was tripping balls while she was painting the night before. Obviously, Gwen is the leader. Daphne and Rita are, I don't want to say like her minions or anything, but like she's definitely the de facto leader. They're walking through Freak City out to make their run. Again, just, so much cool stuff. Look at that little Easter egg. Jane, Silent Bob in the cut right there. They're obviously being watched right now. You see this guy with the camera. And so they're going to collect, dude. They crack the gun on this dude. Gwen doesn't take shit from nobody. Give me the money right now. This dude, typical, drug addict. He's like, oh, I don't have it. I'll get it to you later. And then again, see, being followed. You got these guys in suits that are staking her out. Almost a whole roll of photos of their leader. I know a certain businessman in this town who will pay top dollar for these photos and the information that goes with them. He starts laughing and then he starts joking. Got to cut back on those burgers. They're killing me. Oh, man. And then you see Daphne and Rita, again, making their rounds. Got their Girl Scout cookies, the Thin Mints. But in reality, it's some shrooms and some bud that they're slanging on the streets. And then we get to Downtown Freaks, the Nike Corporation, which is a play on, the Nike sports sports brand. But he spells it Nykee. So he's, the annual meeting of the Brotherhood of the Cracker. I mean, this shit's just, it's nuts, dude. It's so funny. Right here, they got a hit list. Shrek, Morse, Watson. So Bob Shrek, the editor-in-chief of Oni. Scott Morse, another creator that's, that's working with them. And we see that they got their plants, They've taken all the manufacturing out of the U.S. They've closed it down, and they're exclusively overseas, primarily in backward-ass countries. So they're basically using children in sweatshops to do their stuff. And again, this just feels like a commentary that, like, to me, like what Mahfood kind of feels like, the quote-unquote the man, and, what corporate America is. And, a lot of this, it's true. It's like, they moved a lot out. They can save a buck. They're going to. And they step on the little people. They don't give a shit about anybody, and we got this guy that's kind of questioning what they're doing, and these are innocent people. What can't do that? And you got this, you got Father John over here. Perhaps you should watch what you say before something unfortunate happens to you. Which is ironic that you have flames going up behind him. So he's like, ain't working for God or the side of the Lord. He's definitely working for evil, the Satan. You got a guy in a KKK hood right here. And he's like, your brotherhood membership of the Brotherhood of the Cracker has been revoked. What? It blows him away. And even like Father John, ooh, that was pretty dramatic. All hail the Brotherhood of the Cracker, dudes. I mean, look at this. Just, them talking about hip-hop, talking about Def Jam Records, old school. You got Curtis Blow, LL Cool J. It's nothing like that bullshit mainstream Puff Daddy and Will Smith corporate rap that you hear on the top 40 radio stations today. Kind of funny considering what Puff Daddy's going through. So little shit talking against him here, and they just want to go to now. Daphne wants to hit up the comic shop. So I love this. They're into hip hop. They're into comics, slanging shit in the streets, and these two guys come up on them thinking they can rob them. Little do they know that they mess with the wrong girls. I love this, dude. She's hanging out. Gwen's hanging outside of the comic shop. Waiting like, oh, they should have been here by now. You got this little geeky nerd coming up. Oh, are you one of the Danger Girl? Fuck off, fanboy. So all the Bad Girl era comics and stuff that were prevalent in, like, I would say mid to late 90s, then you got these girls. This would be like the ultimate bad girl without having to overly objectify them. Like, these are legit some badass fucking female characters. I love, they take these fucking dudes down. Straight stomping his ass out. Just what a fun comic. What a great start to this, to what goes on to be a long, running series of mini-series of Girl Scouts, The brother of the Cracker, like there's declining narcotic sales. And what is it? It's the girls. And they call themselves the Girl Scouts. Now they got to take them down. They're going to put their Freak City's top-notch assassins. No one takes money out of Philip Nike's pockets. And then this, dude, great editorial by Jim Mahfood, man. I love this. I didn't even realize this until I read this single issue that, originally Girl Scouts, came out in a 12-page comic. It was actually spelled Grrl, Girl, instead of Grrl. And then the Girl Scouts of America threatened a lawsuit. And as Jim says, he's like, apparently the organization wasn't too happy with me blatantly ripping off their symbols and icons and applying them to 16-year-old punk girls who smoked weed and shot people. I eventually agreed not to use their name and symbols anymore, and everything was dropped. Then, you fast forward, he does a book called Cosmic Toast. That gets passed around, gets to the notice of an X-Men writer, and brought his work to Marvel, and that's where he gets the Generation X Underground special. Then he works, meets Jamie Rich, who is working at Dark Horse, and he recommended Jim to go show Bob Schreck and Joe Nosemack, who formed Oni Press. That's how he hooks up with Kevin Smith, does the Clerks comics, and eventually comes to do his Grrl Scouts comics. One of my favorite things that Jim Mahfood's ever done is the Grrl Scouts line of books. I absolutely love each and every one of them. So I highly recommend picking up the trades. They're all collected. Anything by Jim Mahfood's great. So I highly recommend anything that he does to pick up. And while you're at it, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.